what do you make of those comments from LeBron?
I love these comments. Look, for the past few seasons, LeBron has kind of coasted during the regular season at times to pace himself. He knows what it takes to win championships. He knows he's going to play deep into May or June. And so he's really paced himself well in the regular season. Still played at a high level, but we've all seen him turn it up in the playoffs when he's had to. We saw it last year in Cleveland. We saw it the year before even in Cleveland. And when you are playing for championships, championship or bust, since 2007, Skip, when he first went to the finals and they beat Detroit in the Eastern Conference and everybody was surprised and your Spurs swept them. But since then, it's been championship or bust every single year for LeBron James, except this year. This year, you got a young team. Yeah, you want to try to win it and go as far as you can. But you know, realistically, you're probably not beating Golden State. So it can be tough to get motivated when you know it's really just about making the playoffs and making a nice showing there. And I think that LeBron has bought in now, and especially when you know that at the 8th seed, if that's what you get, I hope they get 7. But if you get 8, you got the Golden State Warriors waiting for you. It can zap your motivation. So to hear LeBron talk like this, I love it. I believe he's going to be reinvigorated. We'll see a much better performance. I also think this, Skip, number 2. I think that LeBron has heard the talk. And I think he's tired of hearing the little criticism that is he still the best player in the world? Can he even get the Lakers to the playoffs? And I think even the Lakers, Skip, have played into it. I think they played some mind games. There was a story a few days ago that the Lakers are concerned about LeBron's groin injury, that the Lakers are concerned about his lack of intensity, and he's not as engaged as they would like. That was a leak. I've talked to people close to LeBron, and they said, look, yeah, when he first got back from the groin, he probably is pacing himself a little bit, wanting to feel out the injury, make sure you're all right, and you don't want to re-injure it, of course, because it would be worse. But they've given me the impression that the groin isn't really a concern for LeBron. So for the Lakers to put it out there that they're concerned about it, I think they were kind of putting it out there to LeBron. Look, we know, we see, too, that you're not playing like you used to. You've been playing well, but not at the LeBron James level we are used to seeing. And I think he's received that message and been a bit motivated by it. So I like this, Skip.
Chris Broussard. Your guy, the drama king, was really at it again yesterday. And the more I read of what he said and the more I heard last night of what he said, the less I liked all of what he said. And if I were a teammate, especially one of those young teammates of LeBron James right now, I would be shaking my head, if not being outright offended by just about everything he said yesterday. And let's start with that he's activated. And he said, unfortunately, I'm going to have to start earlier. So let me get this straight. Help me out here, because I actually covered Michael Jeffrey Jordan when he was a Chicago Bull. And Chris, I might have missed it, but I don't ever remember Michael saying he paced himself during the regular season. Trust me, from game 1 through game 82, he was all out. And he played game 1 like it was a playoff game. So for LeBron to admit that he coasts,
how many seasons?
You can't do that.
Mike only played, do we even count the Washington years?
No.
He played 13 years in Chicago.
Yep.
He retired. He retired after the 3 titles, then retired again. You know, like, so LeBron's in his 16th year. Mike never played. He played 15 years. We don't even count the last 2. LeBron has played roughly 60 to 70 more playoff games than Michael Jordan has. So he has a lot. Remember, when Jordan played, that first round of the playoffs was 5 games, not the 7 that we see now. So LeBron has played a lot more basketball than Michael Jordan.
Timeout. How many times did Michael play all 82 games? You remember that?
Oh, he played it most years.
Yeah, most years. I think about like 10 times he did. And last year was the first time LeBron played all 82 games. So let's start with that. And now let's go to a second thing that at least offended me. He said that, let me go to number 2. He said, obviously, we would have loved to have success when I was out, but we didn't. So this is where we are right now. Well, that's another timeout for me because were the Lakers 32-2 when LeBron got hurt on December 25th? No, they were 20-14, which was nice, but it wasn't great. So 14 times they had already lost in their first 34 games. And do I need to? We don't have time for me to recite all the games that were there for LeBron to close that he failed to close, starting with the game at Portland and the Houston Brawl game at home, the San Antonio game in overtime at home, at San Antonio, at Jenny's, Minnesota, at Orlando at home, at Washington, at Brooklyn, Memphis at home. Every one of those games could have been won and I think closed by LeBron, and he didn't. But he takes no responsibility for that, and so it's like he's blaming his young teammates or all of his teammates for putting us in this predicament. And that leads to number 3.
Well, Skip.
Yeah, go ahead.
They went from the 4th seed to the 10th seed when LeBron was out. I mean, he just stated a fact.
Okay,
if the young boys can't handle it, grow up.
Okay, but it's the West. It's
they
hard.
Went 6 and 12.
Fortunes rise and fall quickly. And obviously they missed LeBron, but they also won a few games that I thought were pretty good. The game at Oklahoma City was really good. Should have won at Houston.
They won 6. They lost 12.
Okay.
They should have looked at that and ballers look at that, okay, the best players out, yeah, we miss him. But, hey, this is my opportunity to step up. I want to show the Lakers, I want to show LeBron, I want to show everybody that I can ball, that we can get it done without LeBron. And they didn't. They lost to the Knicks. They lost to the Cavs at home. LeBron just stated a fact.
I just stated a whole bunch of facts of a whole bunch of losses that LeBron suffered that he should be held responsible for. Now let's go to number 3. Similar point. He says, yeah, I mean, if I can get to the postseason, whatever team I got, I feel like we got a good chance. Well, it's like you're just dismissing the rest of your teammates as garbage. Like, if I can get this team to the playoffs, we still got me, so we got a chance in the playoffs. Chris, this is already on hair trigger because LeBron, unfortunately, through Rich Paul, made it very clear that he was very willing to trade all of his kids, all of his talented young kids, for Anthony Davis. Well, that's going to be an issue psychologically in the locker room going forward without him making statements like this. This is the opposite of leadership. This is rubbing the kids' noses in it that he says, if I get this team to the postseason, it doesn't matter what kind of team we got a chance because of me. You can't say that if you want to lead a team and get the best out of all of your kids in the highest, biggest moments as the playoffs approach. That's the wrong thing to say. And I know, like, Tom Brady gets ripped and ridiculed for saying nothing, speaking in platitudes and cliches. I'll take Tom Brady over that any day because Tom Brady's team loves Tom Brady. Your response?
Skip, you brought up Michael Jordan earlier. Did Michael Jordan not lead with tough love?
Yeah, but
tougher love than LeBron James. Am I correct?
But it was love. It was tough, but it was love, and they knew that he loved them. And this smacks of unlove to me.
Look, Skip, you know, I was with Michael Jordan in Washington for those final weeks of his last season, and he led the same way. He was hard-nosed. He challenged guys to the core. He was as competitive as all get out. There was one difference. He no longer could lead a team to not even a championship, but the playoffs. And those young guys in that locker room who grew up idolizing Michael Jordan, they couldn't stand him. They couldn't take it. Michael was such a great leader because it was tough love, but ultimately because he was so good that he could lead you to championships. And the other guys, even if they didn't like it, they got on the bandwagon because, hey, it's a circus and we're benefiting from it. So let's ride it.
Okay.
And LeBron is challenging these kids with tough love. I get what you're saying. They're human beings. It's going to be tough. They're young. Their first time in the trade, on the trade rumor mill. And Lonzo was supposed to be the face of the organization. And Kuzma was this great kid that they found late in the draft in the first round. And all Brandon Ingram, number 2 pick, all that. I get it. But this is the NBA. It is a business, and they have learned it the hard way. If they can't handle it, then they're not cut out to play in the NBA at a high level. This is what happens when you join LeBron, expectations rise. He holds himself to a high standard, and he holds every one of his teammates to a high standard. And the ones that can't handle it, then they shrink back, they get traded, cut, whatever. I think the young boys can handle it. I know Kuzma can. I want to see if Lonzo and Ingram can. But I think it's tough love, and this is NBA life. This is the business of basketball, and they just have to accept it, grow, and learn from it.
Chris, Michael Jordan never went and sat at the very end of the bench, literally trying to separate himself, distance himself from his teammates that he could not stand. This smacked of the LeBron James who exits the game and goes to the very end of the bench like, I don't want anything to do with you guys because you guys are a bunch of garbage.
Doesn't he have that? But isn't it a special seat for his back?
Oh, it's special, yeah.
He sits there all the time.
Special, yeah.
And remember, Skip, there was a teammate, I don't know if it was Rondo or somebody kind of next to him, and then he got up to go in the game. So it made it look, it wasn't the optics were bad. But we know, I don't think it was really as bad as it looked.
My final issue is LeBron's comment that I love being uncomfortable. In fact, he goes so far as to say that I fall in love with being uncomfortable. Well, then why did you leave Cleveland and take your talents to South Beach to join forces with Dwayne and Chris Bosh and Pat Riley? Because wouldn't that increase your comfort zone and your chances of winning? And then why did you leave your best friend Dwayne Wade high and dry and go back to Cleveland to join forces with young and upcoming star Kyrie Irving? And then why did you leave Cleveland behind to come to L.A. when it looked like you couldn't win with what was left in the cupboard at Cleveland last year? I don't think he loves being uncomfortable, and he sure didn't love being uncomfortable in that first finals with the Heat when he just shrank and disappeared. So I don't get that. That just sounds like he's trying to talk himself up and increase his mystique and legacy when, again, he hasn't shown me he loves discomfort.